Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. Join me in a quick prayer. I got a speed dating event at 1:30 today, 15 minutes away. And last time I did it, I came on here to ask for prayers, and it went pretty well. So let's do it again. I need to meet important life figures, not necessarily just a romantic partner, but if this past year could be summed up in one sentence, it was that every barrier I ran into would have been softened considerably if I had the right connections, especially back home in the United States. Connections are a big part of life, right? I always wonder what would happen if you take somebody who otherwise is very well off and they lose all of their friends in an instant, right? For some bizarre reason, right? I cannot see anybody faring well. Even somebody like Donald Trump or Elon Musk, if they suddenly lost all their friends and connections, I don't think they would fare very well. If they lost all their money, I think they might be okay. If they lost their good health, they might be okay. But lose all your friends, I think even those two people would have a hard time recovering. I'll invite you to think about that. So that's why the connections are really important to me. That's why I went all out this year. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Like Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. A Peter Like Show. Please pray for me by hitting the like button on this video. So I think that the difference between me today and me as a successful person is really just the right connection. I really do. Give you an example. I'm working on some Lego ideas right now. I'll leave it as a secret until I have it mostly done. And I look at other Lego ideas out there, and they don't even look half as decent, and they get 5,000 likes. And I want you to pray for my Lego project as well. I really could use a miracle by the end of this year. Uh, all right, I got to get ready. Please. Now, one thing I've noticed is that unfortunately, luck plays a huge role in a lot of things. And I often don't have the best of luck. So, for example, you look at all of the connections I made this past year, a lot of times I just got really lucky, right? Had we deviated even one iota. So, for example, the girl that I met at the on the dating app last winter, the last time we went out, she was in a bit of a pinch. Her sister was visiting her in Taiwan, and flight delays and all that. I was comforting her, and had her sister not ran into that flight delay, which none of us could control, right? It may have played out differently, right? That was a good one, but a lot of times I often get the rotten side of the butterfly events in my life. I talked about this in my last video. A lot of times I go on out on a date and something trivial completely derails the date that I did not think about, completely derails the date. So, for example, I was at a lot of times back home in the U.S., not so much here in Taiwan, but back home in the U.S., a lot of times I have difficult times trying to make a pickup line on a girl because I'm not a very talkative person. I'm very introverted, and some really outspoken, extroverted guy hijacks the entire conversation of the table, right? So, for example, I sometimes go to various meetup groups, and sometimes I go home and I almost want to fantasize about killing whoever was hijacking the conversation of that day. Anybody here who's introverted can relate to that. Leave a comment. But I can't tell you how many times I end the evening wishing I could kill somebody, right? And fantasizing about that. right? So little details like that. I've learned, and this takes a little guts to do. I've learned when that happens, like at a party, if somebody's hijacking the conversation, to tell, hey, I got something really exciting I want to share with you. Would you maybe come over here? Maybe you could help me arrange this. And they come over and you tell them that I really like to make this move on this girl. Could you give me like just 30 seconds? I've learned to do that. It takes a lot of guts though. Usually, unless the guy's really trying to challenge you for that girl. If the guy has a girlfriend, it's perfect to do that. If he doesn't, you got to use your good judgment there, right? But usually the guy has multiple girlfriends because after all, they're that extroverted. So usually it's pretty safe to do that. If you notice that they're not anyway, or if it's a girl who's hijacking it, then it might be unless you got to use your good judgment. Maybe she has feelings for you and is going to get jealous. But if you hear her talk about having a boyfriend, usually she does, or she's not interested, then yeah, that might be a good idea to do that. Right? Takes a lot of guts though. But I often get shafted with butterfly events. That's why I need some prayers. All right, gotta get ready. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.